We have new details just into our newsroom. Two people are okay after the small plane that they were in crashed outside of Falcon Field in Mesa.
The plane landed in Orange Groves. You can see it right there, right next to a neighborhood, right next to a backyard with a pool. So 12 News journalist Bianca Bono is there live. This is like a very close call for the people on this plane and the neighbors, Bianca.
A very, very close call. Lots of neighbors in this Mesa area are very thankful to be okay this afternoon. And this is about as close as we could possibly get to this scene, thanks to those neighbors who let us come through their backyard to get a close look at the wreckage from this plane crash. And we did just get information in the past 20 minutes or so from officials out here in Mesa. Here's what we know about what happened. We're told that this small yellow plane took off from Falcon Field Airport. Shortly after takeoff, the plane suffered some sort of mechanical issue. The pilot then attempted to turn back to the airfield. It was determined that the aircraft didn't have enough altitude to get back, so the pilot elected to put the plane down on this dirt road in a nearby orange grove. Now, the plane touched down, struck a tree stump, and spun around. The plane, obviously, as you can see, suffered some heavy damage, but the pilot and one other occupant were able to get out. They weren't even transported to the hospital. They were okay. So a real miracle here. Now, we've talked to several neighbors who their backyards lead right up to this plane crash site. They said some of them heard that loud sound. They weren't quite sure what it was. In fact, one boy that we talked to named Zach, he said that he was sitting kind of scrolling on his phone. He heard a loud sound, and it wasn't until his neighbor came and knocked on his door about 30 minutes later and said, "Hey, did you see the plane crash near your backyard?" that he went back and looked over the backyard fence and saw the wreckage just feet away from his home. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Yeah, very lucky because, like you said, my brother's room is right there, and that's about 30 yards, 20 yards from, where he sleeps at night, and it's very concerning right now.
And again, thankfully, no injuries to report from either the pilot or the one other occupant, or thankfully no injuries to report in this neighborhood. Now, back out here live again, we want to show you the wreckage up close and personal from the ground here. This yellow plane completely destroyed there, but it landed almost perfectly. I mean, just a few yards away from the back wall to some of these beautiful homes here in Mesa. And in fact, the family who was generous enough to let us through their backyard to do this live report here said they were coming back from Flagstaff, but their kids, their nieces and nephews were all inside this home watching a movie when this plane crash happened. So again, just a few yards away, and it could have been a real tragedy out here, but no injuries to report. Of course, officials are still out here. Mesa police and aircraft officials are going to be working to figure out exactly how this happened. For now, we're live in Mesa. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
Well, Bianca, thank you for that report. Yeah, you think about it, they could have hit that house, packed with young people, like you said, or even the people on the plane hitting one of those trees that could have taken them out. But everybody walks away from this. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is amazing. It's almost a perfect crash landing if such a thing exists. But you're so right. I mean, thinking about the close call that could have happened just on the other side of this wall. And then, of course, the pilot and that other occupant, it seems like they just kind of landed perfectly. This really isn't that large of a space. It's almost like the size of an alley. And the plane landed almost perfectly, so they were able to get up and walk away from this crash.
All right, Bianca, thank you for that.